My name is Bryce, and I'm a dreamer. Both waking and sleeping, my rich and vivid imagination has been keeping life interesting since I was very little. So I'm going to share those dreams with you, and I'd love for you to share your dreams with me. Let's do this together in a little place that I like to call Somewhere in Dreamworld. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Midnight Notion Somewhere in Dreamworld podcast, the podcast about all things dreams, both waking and sleeping. And today, maybe have a little bit of talk about voices, because mine sure isn't here. My name is Bryce Kalal. I'm your host. I'm not a pro, but I do like pros. Hey, and today we have a special guest, Alec Johnson. Hey, hi.
Hello, that's me.
How are you, Alec?
I'm really well right now, actually. Yeah.
You'll, listeners, you'll never guess where I met Alec. Alec, do you know where I met you?
Definitely the huge theater.
The huge theater.
It was the huge, yes.
That's where most of the guests for this show come from.
Absolutely.
Which is odd. I spent a lot of time in the music industry or in the music scene. And then when I went over to improv, suddenly I made a bunch of friends. So I don't know what that says about the music scene, but here we are.
I think a big thing is like in the improv community, it's so much about like it's community, you know?
Yeah.
Performing together and whatnot.
Yeah, everybody.
You have to have community.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Because the whole mindset of it, that yes and mindset from 101, you're taught to take what somebody else is bringing and add to it and agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
And in music, it's very much like my band needs to be the best because there's a battle of the bands.
You know what it also might be is that there's the huge, and that's like really one of the only locations to ever do improv. And so with music, like, you know, you just go to one of the 200 bars.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
You have to meet these people. Like it's like the Breakfast Club almost. You're in the confined space.
Yeah.
And you have to befriend them. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if one is a jock and one is a nerd. And
you have to get together.
You're forced.
There's only one place. Yeah.
That's right. Well, in this episode today, I have to mention our sponsor that could have been, because every episode could have been sponsored and unfortunately wasn't. But this week's episode, or this month, I should say month, because this isn't a weekly podcast, it's a monthly podcast. This month's sponsor could have been the immune system. Have you ever heard of this company?
I have. I've heard of it. Yeah.
They do great things. Pretty much every time you get cut or like break something, like a bone.
Yeah.
Or a nose. I've never done that before.
It hurts. It really hurts.
Have you broken a nose?
I've broken bones.
Which bones have you broken?
Both my thumbs.
Both of your thumbs?
Yeah.
Wait, at the same time?
Yep. It was really hard to write for all of 5th grade.
All of 5th grade?
Yep.
Wait, does it take that long to repair?
Well, they were like broken, and then we waited a while to get any like treatment, and then I finally got the casts, and then I had to write with like both hands for a while. It was hard. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was really difficult.
What was the cause of the break?
You know the roller gardens?
I don't know the roller gardens.
So it's the place where you like wear roller skates and you go in a circle to like 80s music. And I fell really hard. Okay. And broke both of my thumbs. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But like not the other fingers?
No, I didn't. No, it was just my thumbs, because I think I landed like, you know?
Yeah. For the listeners, Alec is showing you what it looks like, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you put your hands down to brace, and then it just doesn't work. See, now when I did that, I fell off a swing once. More so, I was doing a trick and it failed and resulted in a fall. And I fractured my wrist. my left wrist in 7th grade. Yeah, or just before 7th grade.
How many tricks are there that you can do on a swing?
You could do a lot of tricks on the swing.
Backflip and front jump.
Yeah,
are the two.
There's kids at one of the schools where I work that are doing front flips.
Whoa!
Yeah,
That's
off
wild.
of they're doing front flips off of the front. Like they're not, like I feel like when you're swinging backwards, you could probably do a rotation, but they're like jumping off the front and doing a flip. And to me, that's insane because what if your legs get caught on the swing?
And then you die.
Which is immediately the first thing that happens. But like I was doing a backflip and I thought to do a foot grab at the same time.
Oh.
And when I reached for my feet actually bumped the swing in the other direction. So when I did the rotation, the swing caught my legs and then I went down. And my first concern was the wind got knocked out of me. My arm hurt, but I just figured like I fell and the wind got knocked out. So that's the problem. But then hours later, I could not go to sleep, and we ended up having to drive me into the hospital.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and now the immune system is working its magic on my throat.
Wow!
Because for some reason, through all the yelling outside, playing recess games with children all the time. And then I played a show on Wednesday, so it's just gone.
Yeah, no, kids make you sick.
Yeah,
that's the thing they do.
Well, it's not even sick; it's just sore. Like it's not
really?
It's not a sore throat. It's like my voice got lost from just overusing it. I should really I'm obviously misusing it if it's gone like this from just overuse. But I don't know. Here we are.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels better than it did last night. I did.
Sounds better, yeah.
You saw a little bit last night. We were talking after the show.
I saw your throat. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw. You peered right in.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, in this episode, we're actually going to talk about dreams at some point. This episode, we got dreams where we're under attack.
Yeah.
Scary. But before we get into that, the news. I got a couple things coming up.
Sweet.
Do you have things coming up?
Nope.
Great. For improv, you can still see me in Super Showdown and ka-baam, both at Huge Theater. Super Showdown, I'm actually going to be performing in later tonight with no voice.
Yes.
But that runs through the rest of October on Friday nights at 10:30. And then ka-baam is Saturdays at 8 o'clock. And I'm not in every single Saturday in October, but come anyway because it's a really great show.
Yeah, both shows are really good.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Thank you.
ka-baam was my first improv show I went to.
Really?
Yeah, it was back when Hannah Weideven was doing it.
Oh yeah,
it was phenomenal.
Yeah. No, that was the show that inspired me to make Super Showdown.
Yeah,
I've been very vocal about how I call Super Showdown, lovingly call it ka-baam Junior.
Yeah, so here was the set for the first improv show I ever went to. It was ka-baam, then Splendid Things, and then the Bearded Company. Like
yes,
boom, boom, boom. Like,
oh yes, I went to those shows all the time.
Absolutely top tier.
Those are that's the bar for me.
Yeah. Ever since then,
everything after has been just downhill.
Yep.
No, like honestly, like it is those three shows are the reason I'm coming back for sure.
Yeah, those are the specifically the Bearded Men and or the Bearded Company and Splendid Things doesn't do anything anymore, but ka-baam as well. Like those are the shows I send to people if I want them to get into improv, if I want them to appreciate.
Yeah, they're really accessible.
Yeah. Oh, they're so palatable. Yeah.
Anybody can, if you've ever seen a thing in your life, if you've ever been alive, you can enjoy those.
Yeah,
shows.
honestly.
So those are the improv things. I also have a couple shows with Midnight Notion. Yay! Midnight Notion is playing November 9th at the Hexagon with Blank Space again. We play with them back at the CD release in March. But it's another rock punk night. So we'll probably whip out some of those old pop punky style stuff. Maybe add a cover. Who knows? We like to do covers. We just played recently Anthem Part 2 by Blink-182, which is a deep cut. It's not one of their hits, but everybody's played all the small things, so we want to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then on November 30th, I've been tasked with playing a solo acoustic show at the Caboose.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and I love the Caboose. This will be the third show this year there. But the band wasn't available, and I said, well, I could do an acoustic show.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a night, I don't know the full details about why, but there's some celebration of music in like punk music in 1994.
Sweet.
And I don't know why it's that specific.
Awesome. That's
but
great.
There's two very specific records in my favorites list, or like in my list of bands that I would definitely cover, who released albums that year. So I'm not saying which one I've chosen yet, but you can check out the releases of 1994 and make your guesses, and I'll see you on November 30th.
Sweet.
With my acoustic set. And then lastly, I mentioned it last month, but December 13th, the Holly Jolly Rock Show. All of our proceeds are going to go to music education in the schools. So rock on for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you don't have anything going on?
No.
What are you doing tomorrow?
I'm going to in a corn maze.
This is news.
Yeah, with my roommate and his family. We're all going to go do a corn maze together, and then I'm going to help my mom clean behind a couch. And then I'm going to play some games with some friends. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Yep.
All right. I think that's enough of the news. It's time to go to sleep. Once again, if you have a dream, anyone, the royal you, anyone in the world has a dream that you'd like to share with the podcast, you can always submit that by emailing podcast@midnightnotion.com, or you can phone it in and actually have your voice on the podcast by calling 612-643-0944. That's pretty sweet. Anybody could do that. I'm saving up again for another listener dreams episode, so we'll probably do that maybe the next one. I don't know, pretty soon. But anyway, we have those. So I think that exploring dreams, talking about your dreams, and really like self-analyzing them can help lead to a better understanding of yourself, and it can also. I want to say that it can help prevent nightmares, but that's not entirely true because I still have a nightmare every once in a while. But I think the more you understand about how the brain works, and the more you watch out for symbols and recurring themes in your waking life, they apply to your sleeping life. And so I think the more positive your waking life is, the more positive your dreams are, and vice versa. So I don't know. That's just a theory. A game theory. No, it's not a game theory. So anyway, Alec, we're under attack.
Yeah.
What is going on? So this, I should let everybody know that we were literally talking about this last night, which was a Thursday.
Yep.
We're recording this on a Friday. This podcast comes live at midnight tomorrow.
Sweet.
Tonight at midnight.
Really?
So like Saturday is tomorrow, the 12th. So we're recording this last minute. I was just going to do maybe some listener dreams, or actually I was going to talk about the dream that just happens to be related to the dream you told me last night.
Sweet.
That's why you came. I'm excited to share this.
Yeah.
Are you excited to share this?
So I don't know. I don't know. It feels weirdly vulnerable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, dreams are a really vulnerable space. It's like you're sharing your inner feelings, inner thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be happy to know there's not a lot of listeners.
Sweet. Okay. Cool.
but I don't know. It from what you told me, it's an interesting dream.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But I understand you have more than just a retelling of this dream.
Yeah, so it was one of those dreams where I woke up, I had the dream, and boom, I'm awake. And it was like 3 a.m, and it was so vivid that I had to write it down. And I usually write down my dreams. And this one specifically, it happened only a couple nights ago, and it's really stuck with me the past couple days.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
It can really it can really sit with you, and some dreams just like stay.
Mm-hmm.
They have that staying power. But I appreciate that you write down your dreams.
Yeah.
Do you dream often?
Every night.
Every night.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
You've got the powerful
I know,
mind.
right? I escape the matrix like every night. It's awesome. And because like I can like just will myself to lucid dream too.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's
You
like
said the magic L word.
Yeah, I know, right? I can just do it, and then I can like pop out of it whenever I want, and just like re-experience the dream however I want. Yeah.
You're fired.
I know,
so
right?
jealous of you right now.
I know, right?
What?
It's kind of like the way I've never had to like talk about it. The way I think about it, I guess, is like, you know, if you're like eating food, the way I can lucid dream is like when you start thinking about like the ingredients, you can just be like, oh, this has like cinnamon and cumin in it or something like that.
Right.
And then you can just go back to regularly enjoying the food. And then you can like think about the ingredients again or something. But like,
what?
Yeah, I can just like break out of it, break into it, break out, back and forth. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know,
and
right?
also unfair.
I know.
We just had a few episodes ago, I had MA on here, and they were talking about lucid dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like the conversation never ended. So
Yeah.
I feel like we've got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a superpower, honestly.
It really is. When did it start?
It's lucid dreaming?
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you recognized, hey, I'm in control of this thing?
I was a kid.
Yeah.
Child, like literally, I mean, I guess it's the first dream I can remember having where I realized like, oh, I'm a bunny. I'm just going to jump. And then like, I jumped up in the sky and I was like, oh, this is obviously a dream. Like, this is completely illogical. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Wow.
Yeah, but then I like jumped up into the sky and then I forgot that I was dreaming while I was in the sky and then I fell and woke up. But like, I've gotten better at mastering the skill.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that you were a bunny. You know, one of my favorite heroes from video games turned into a bunny once.
Is it Mario?
It's Link.
Oh, okay. Yep. Mario doesn't he have like a bunny thing?
He's got a bunny hood, right?
Maybe I'm thinking of Super Smash Bros. Where you get the
Where
bunny.
you get the bunny ears,
Yeah,
which are from the Zelda game,
Yep.
I think.
That's what I was thinking of. Yep. And
So it's all related.
my go-to character is Mario, so of course I'm. Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
They're both great.
Yep.
Link's better. Whatever.
Sort of.
Kirby's better than both of them. There's that meme.
Actually, yeah.
There's that meme where Mario gets chased by the sun
Mhm.
and Link gets chased by the moon, but Kirby fights both of them.
It's true. The Kirby games were so fun as a kid.
This is not about
Bringing it back to dreams.
Oh yes. Oh, Dreamworld. Actually,
Yeah.
that is a good segue because Kirby's Dream Land.
Whoa, that's awesome. Yeah.
Kirby's Dream Land, and no joke. That has a big. That's a big part of why I got so obsessed with dreams. Like I was really into Kirby's Dream Land and Dreamworld.
Great game.
I think there's a Kirby's Dream World, right?
There has to be. I might have played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, like that concept of dreams, that like at that age was when I was really experiencing dreams like for the first time.
Yeah.
And really like understanding why these are really interesting.
Yeah.
And that influence followed me through, and I wouldn't be surprised if the reason for Somewhere in Dreamworld is a slight reference to Kirby.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah. You know what I was just thinking of is the new Zelda game and the
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, and the
remake of
Windfish dream.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
1000%.
It's awesome.
I mean, don't spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, but go play that game.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about it when Daniel Mullion was on this podcast. One of the early episodes, we talked about that game, and it's just so good.
It's so fun.
It's so good, and I was so happy that they really re-released it or updated, however they want to call it.
Yeah.
Because a whole new generation is going to experience my favorite.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
It was this game that nobody knew about because it was on Game Boy.
Yeah.
And then now everybody gets to experience how good it is.
It's great.
This isn't about dreams. I mean, it's kind of about dreams, but I want to hear about your dream.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, rewind. You jot your dreams down in a book, or in a book, or digitally.
Either way, it's.
Do you record them ever, like in a voice?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Only if I like dream about a song.
Oh.
And then I record the song.
And you can remember songs too?
Yeah, yeah.
Jerk.
I know, right?
You're a meanie head.
I know.
So you jot them down. That's a good step to remembering them.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why you can remember them daily.
Honestly, yeah, it is.
Yeah, because you're training your brain to look for those signals. Hey, dream, remember that. Great on you for doing that. And probably another reason why you're lucid dreaming too.
Yeah.
But this one, it stood out a little bit more. So tell us about this writing situation.
Yeah. So again, it was like 3 a.m, and I wrote this all down. It's very the top of the head. Like, it's not literary whatsoever. It's just like exactly what I remember in the order that I remember it happening.
Okay, so listeners should turn their judging brain off.
Yeah, don't expect like James Joyce or something. Like, yeah. I titled it "Everyone Disappears."
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which I think is a pretty good title for like a 3 a.m.
Yeah.
kind of thing. So should I just read it?
Go for it.
Sweet. The White House was on fire, and the fire was blooming out of the top like a crown. No one knew it was happening. The reporter suggested it might be the Chinese declaring war and finally taking action, but we all knew it was more than that. The news cut back to the anchors in the newsroom, but they were only empty seats, and the camera stayed like that until my uncle turned the TV off. The wedding party was big, and thankfully the house was big enough to fit all of them in the living room. The house was hot, and the women started to cry, and the men started rubbing their hands through their hair and breathing heavily. Maybe we could get out of this. But where are we going to go? We can't stay anywhere too long, right? Besides, the fields were all dried up and infertile, and even if we could make some off-the-grid, self-sustaining community, none of us knew how to farm. I knew she was watching us. Upstairs, my sister was watching us through the holes in the ceiling. I felt a knot in my chest. She was going to get us. She would crawl and scream at us. I think she was my sister, but she could have been anyone. The party split up into 3 groups. The first group, the biggest, maybe 30 people, went to the front door and were trying to devise a way to escape. The second group, 10-ish people, ran past the first and outside, and then they were gone in a blink. Everyone screamed or gasped because we were surprised at how quick it happened. The third group of 6 people were sent to the back patio in the backyard with the dogs. The dogs had a sense for it and would protect them. My dad was in the first group, and my mom was in the third. I thought about the White House burning again, and then we saw a man across the street trying to make it to us. He was from another house. Maybe we could scavenge from house to house. None of the food was going away, just the people. But we'd have to make it long enough so that whoever was living there had already disappeared, or else we might have to fight the people in the house for their food, and life isn't worth living at that point. The man across the street was gone now, and I had a knot in my chest in case my mom was gone. I went to the back patio to see how my mom was doing. Walking past the stairs was hard. I knew my sister was up there, and I hated her. I knew she was watching us, and I hated her so much. I don't think she was my sister. I honestly don't know who she was, but she was older than me, and I remember as a child, she would crawl up to the foot of my bed and scream silently, but I never actually saw her. I was too afraid. So I leapt past the stairs to avoid her, and I ran to the back of the house. There were 3 big German shepherds, and my mom and 5 others were sitting having a nice conversation about something. I didn't open the screen door because I didn't want to interrupt the peace on the patio. I saw a butterfly flutter by. It was a soft bluish white, and it wasn't worrying about any of this. The butterfly was just flying to the next flower. I continued to the front, and I didn't even care if she was on the stairs looking at me. I hated her. I didn't even look up to check. I hate her so much. Now, there were only 4 of them in the front, still here from the first group, and they were inside, peeking out the windows. The others must have tried to escape and disappeared too. My dad was crouching, practically squatting for the first time I could think of since his knee surgery, and he was peeking out the window. They were still inside, and that's probably why they were still alive. It was such a sunny day, and a car came down the road. It was a silver SUV, and then it drove off the road, and we saw how no one was inside of it, and it crashed into a tree. I finally accepted what was going to happen, and I wanted to spend my last moments with my parents. I grabbed my dad's hands and led him to the back patio, and he didn't resist. We passed the stairs, and my mom was inside as well, along with the only other 2 from the backyard. There were only 3 of them left, and they had come inside. My mom was walking towards us, looking down, picking dog hair off her cardigan, and she said, "All the dogs are gone." She looked up, and I had forgotten how old she had gotten, and I remembered how much I loved her. I reached out my hands to hug her. And then I woke up.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy.
It was just this thing. It was weird. Yeah.
Okay. So this was the writing. This is a very action-packed dream.
Yeah, right?
Did you wake up feeling exhausted?
Exhausted and lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it kind of carries over into waking life, right? When you have a dream like this, that it just like you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel like I went through.
Yeah, I felt like a knot in my chest, like that knot in the chest that I was talking about. It was still there when I woke up. It was weird. Crazy. So there's a lot of stuff in there to unpack. I have a lot of questions, but
the first thing I'm curious about, without any leading, is what you get from this dream. What has been on your mind since you woke up? Since you obviously wrote it down really quickly. Thank you for reading and sharing that, by the way.
Yeah.
I have plenty of questions, but I'm curious how you're unpacking it, what you're getting from it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't know.
I think one of the big things that I pick up is I really love my parents, and I love my mom and dad, and I just moved away from them recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just moved out for the first time.
Congrats.
Yeah, right. I'm living in a different place, and I don't get to see my parents every day, and it's weird because I really have a good relationship with them right now.
Great.
And so
yeah. So no, how recently was that you moved out?
A month ago.
A month. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like that kind of has something to do with?
Maybe.
I
do feel like I have since going away, I've had this urge to see my parents more.
Okay.
So much more.
Yeah.
And maybe a little too much, actually.
Is there a out of curiosity, because I stayed at home for the entirety of my 20s to pay off my student loans, and once they were paid off, I moved into my own place. I've only been here for about 2 years and a couple months.
Okay, yeah.
And so this is my first time being out, not only outside of home, but I don't have any roommates or anything. So everything is on me. Do you have roommates?
I have two.
You have two roommates. So you don't have a fully empty place. There are people there.
Yeah.
But is there something in the new situation that is unfavorable? Not to, we won't be ratting out anybody, but
honestly, we have the generic roommate arguments, and then we are like, oh, whatever. Sure. I was supposed to put up some plastic around the windows today, and then I completely forgot, and my roommate was like, why didn't you do that? And I was like, well, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Also, do the dishes. Come on, dude.
Yeah, it's just normal roommate stuff, and then we get over it
Great.
that.
Great. Great. All right. Well, that's grand. But I could definitely see how recently moving out. Obviously they're on your mind, and you said you have this urge to see them more often. That makes sense why they would show up.
Importantly too, I don't have a sister.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I don't know who that was.
I have so many questions about the sister thing.
Yeah.
So let's just get. I want to know the rest of how you're feeling. So we have the parents. You recently moved out. Is there anything else in that dream that stands out to you as maybe something that's happening in life recently versus something in the past? Yeah.
I think, a big thing in this dream is, everyone's disappearing. Everyone disappears. It's very fatalistic. It's very apocalyptic almost.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just have a naturally, I'm a very fatalistic person.
Sure.
Always thinking about, it's going to be the end of everything. Everything's over, blah, 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 blah. And so maybe with all the news recently of threats of nuclear war and climate change and this and that and that, da, 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 da.
Right. That was actually my next question. It was all this stuff on, China, reporters. Was it the White House, or was it a White
It was the White House.
The White House. So, I mean, are you following politics, watching a lot of news?
Not super closely.
Super close.
Yeah, I know everything in abstract, and I know a handful of very specific things, but I'm not watching it 24 hours every day.
Well, even still though, even a casual observer can tell that there's just so much going on, and whichever way you go, it's tiresome, right? We always feel like we're kind of under attack,
always,
just by the news itself, and not by the media per se, but by just there's so much bad news being brought to attention, and it's hard to escape that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So we got the White House, we got reporters. There was a wedding involved in this dream.
Yeah.
Just,
I don't know if it was my wedding. I don't know whose wedding it was, but it was a wedding party. I remember everyone was dressed up.
Do you have a partner?
Nope.
Do you want to be married someday?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Great. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
that's a very personal question publicly, but it's for whatever it's worth. I also have the same answer for both of those.
Yeah.
But have you been to any weddings recently?
No.
Great. Awesome.
I also felt like I was like 45 in this dream.
Okay.
Because my mom, I only based that off of the fact that my mom and dad looked very old. They had gray hair and they had this and that. They had wrinkles and everything.
So a little future, little foresight, potentially.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I hope not. That'd be really scary.
Okay. So let's get into the sister, because that's creepy as hell. No siblings whatsoever?
Nope.
Okay.
Only child.
You mentioned in the story something about her crawling onto your bed.
Yeah.
Was that within the dream observation?
Yes.
Or you've had other dreams with this character?
This is the only time this character has ever appeared. The way I imagined her in my head was, have you seen Pet Sematary?
I haven't actually seen either. I was going to say I haven't seen the new one, but I haven't seen the old one either.
Well, there is a older sister in that who's like this bedridden, very like kind of like older sister, and that's how I was imagining her, I guess.
Yeah, for the listeners, Alec just demonstrated how that character looks.
Yeah.
It's very convincing.
If you know, you know.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. So it's a bedridden person. Okay. And so you imagine somebody upstairs that was probably similar to that.
Yeah.
But could see down through the cracks.
Yeah, she was staring at us all the time, and I knew that she was staring at us.
And so now, was this a perceived threat, or you could see them?
I never saw her.
Never saw her.
But I knew she was staring at us.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it was that thing that she always does.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And you never saw. That's I hate that. That unseen horror, I think, is the worst.
I think one of the reasons why I was like, oh, she's spying at us through the walls is because when I was at the new place I live at, when you're in the bathroom, you can see cracks behind the toilet that lead into the basement, and they look like eyes. They look like little eyes.
Nope.
And it's so scary.
Nope.
Because the lights are always on in the basement, this like very dim reddish light, and so you have these like red eyes staring at you while you're going to the bathroom. It's very vulnerable.
I am not interested at all.
So scary.
I would move so fast.
Yeah. Dude, our basement's just this creepy place.
Okay.
A bunch of like abstract, very nihilistic artists lived there. Yeah, it was very...
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you in the, where do you live at this place?
I live on the first floor. Yeah.
Okay. It's an apartment?
It's like a condo, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Condo. And there's people underneath, and you can see through down to, it's just terrifying.
So there were people underneath, or they like just did art down there, and so there's a bunch of this like scary, terrifying, nihilistic graffiti everywhere. It's very... Yeah.
I hate, that's what, there's like a phrase for that, like a murder basement or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, actually. Yeah. It's like murder basement, like culty murder basement.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's very scary.
But there's a part of me that is very disgusted, and I never want to go there, and there's probably too many spiders, and
there's centipedes.
Oh no. Ugh.
Yeah. There's also just a hole that leads outside.
Nope.
There's just a hole. Like it's like the size. It's bigger than a softball. Like it's just a hole.
Is it covered?
No.
What?
It's not. It's just a hole.
I hate this place. Can we burn it, please?
Yeah.
I mean, get your stuff out first.
I need that insurance down payment or whatever it is.
Okay, friends, listeners, if you're looking to help out Alec with the insurance payment. That is terrifying, and I hate it, and no thank you for me. Good on you for staying there. I'm out. I'm glad where I am.
Yeah.
Ugh, yuck.
Yeah, I don't know, the stream was just spooky, and I woke up feeling a hole inside of me, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I had so much, and now it's gone.
Yes. I want to call to attention something that is really, I don't know, the brain is such an interesting place. You mentioned being kind of nihilistic.
All the time.
Fatalistic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But your brain gave you in this dream a moment of peace.
Yeah, with the butterfly.
Yeah. There's
Isn't that
this
weird?
one little speck of, but there's hope out there. Or maybe it's like an ignorance is bliss
I
sort
think
of
it was like an
situation.
ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Maybe it was hope. Maybe it was like, oh, life will go on.
But so in
Yeah.
recalling the dream, how does this moment play out? I mean, in the written version, you said there's a butterfly and it didn't care about all the stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But in your recollection of the dream, how does this play out? Like, is it a long, like, oh, I'm watching this butterfly for a while, or is it just a background detail that we just mentioned?
It was I remember focusing on it with my eyes and having the distinct thought, like, oh, it's just going to go to the next flower. Like, it doesn't care about any of this.
Yeah.
It doesn't even know what's happening. And then
like
that was it.
If this was a movie, would it like go to a soft piano and follow the butterfly for a while? Or is it just like a whip pan and then it goes back?
I think it would show the butterfly for like 3 seconds and just this moment of like serene, like slow motion peace or something. And then boom, snap
and then
back
car
to like
crash. Yeah.
that's panic in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really poetic. Yeah.
Okay, so now how are you feeling in life just in general? Like, I mean, so another thing I'm taking from this, people are disappearing around you.
Mm-hmm.
The car crash is an interesting one. I feel like I've talked about cars before on the podcast, but some people believe that the cars in dreams are often a symbol of life, and if it's staying on the road, you're in control of your life.
Really?
Yeah, and if it's veering out of control, you're out of control. But then in this situation, you're watching a different car, and it's veering out of control because somebody disappeared.
Someone was in it, and then they just disappeared.
They just vanished.
Yeah.
And so now that thing is out of control because they vanished. How much do you feel like you are feeling centered and people around you are losing their minds? You know what I mean? Like, is there, or do you feel like you're losing some sense of control of life, or that you're like trying to help people, but they're not there, or you're not reaching, you know what I mean? Is there like a deeper metaphorical symbol to this?
Maybe. I don't know.
For the listeners, Alec's eyes just went like wide and is just like having a revelation.
I don't know. I mean, in my own life, I guess I feel very relaxed right now. Like, honestly,
content.
This is the most serene I have ever felt in my entire life.
Great.
Like, I've reached nirvana or something. And I'm super, super happy with my life right now. But I don't know. I don't really feel like I have to like. None of the things you were saying were like resonating with me in any capacity.
Yeah, it doesn't like stand out as a thing. Yeah,
I do. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Like it's not really related to what you were talking about. I don't think, but like again, like I was saying earlier, like I have this not renewed but invigorated, I guess, relationship with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Of just like compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Overwhelming compassion for them.
Yeah.
And I forgot what I was going on, but like, yeah.
But so has there been anything, I mean, and you don't have to get into specifics at all, but like, has there been anything in their lives that has felt like, like if they're, I don't know, I'm just trying to dig into this idea of like people disappearing, obviously in the dream, your parent, and there's another side to this too, that says that dreams aren't always literal, right? Mm-hmm. It's not always, oh, you saw your parents. That means you're thinking about your parents.
Yeah.
Like it means that your parents have existed in your life at some point. Yeah. And, our dreams are a collection of habits and memories and thoughts and feelings. And it could be a representation of someone else with the face of your parents.
Ooh.
Right? Or it could be literally your parents. And really, there's no answer. And that's what I love so much about dreams, is that it could be either. And we could go full on astrology with this and say like a one size fits all, parents in dreams equals this thing.
My dad's an Aquarius.
Right, exactly. And so, and was there water in the dream? Well, now we know the answer, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really, I don't subscribe to that, but I do find it interesting to see what symbols follow people and what symbols relate between people. right? And this is where we're going to get really interesting. Turn it up to 11 here. The excitement rages on. The reason why I so urgently wanted to bring you on this podcast from last night, because your dream starts with the White House, and you're watching this on the news, and people are disappearing, right? And people are disappearing, and then flash to your life and your family, and the people around you disappearing as well, and the fear for people disappearing, right? And the blame on, or the noting that there's the White House and reporters are blaming China or the Chinese military or whatever it is. There's a lot of political influence coming in here, and I can absolutely, I would believe that it's just because of the political climate that this stuff sort of seeps in, and it's just on all our minds.
Oh, yeah.
Interestingly enough, a few days ago, I don't remember the amount of days, because I'm pretty lazy with tracking my dreams, because I recall them really well. And so I remember them well enough that I don't write them because my hands would get tired. But this one, I had a dream just days ago that I was watching TV. I think it was a sporting event on TV. I don't remember what sport.
I love sport.
Right? And there was jets flying over, like Russian jets.
That's what I was imagining too.
Yeah.
Except they were Chinese jets.
Yeah. So just everybody else is the villain, I guess.
The vague enemy.
It's very, very comic book villain, nothing on current events, but there's this there's a lot of talk about China and Russia.
Yeah.
And so in my dream, it was perceived as Russia. And these jets were flying over, and I remember seeing in the bleachers, the camera was pointed at the bleachers, and people were kind of oblivious at first. And then I want to say bombing, but as in a less threatening, it was almost like it was just rocks.
Okay, cool.
Because they weren't,
That's a good way to survive.
Because things were falling from the sky and ruining the stadium, but not in a massive explosion type of way, right? So it was just people-sized spaces being ruined.
Oh, okay.
Right? So
that's a lot better than bombs.
Right.
Yeah.
But also dangerous.
Very.
And so there were people sitting, and then in the empty bleacher area, beside them, bleachers. So it must not have been a popular sport.
Yeah.
It wasn't a stadium, obviously. There was a bleacher, and there was an empty space, and a rock comes pummeling down and just destroys that section of bleacher. And then people start looking up, and then you see, people covering their heads, and there's stuff now falling from above. Right. And so I'm perceiving this through the TV. And I don't remember. Did you say you were watching a TV?
We were watching the TV, yeah.
Cut to me in real life. I ended up in my dream going to a place that has shown up in a lot of dreams for me, which is my grandpa and grandma's old house, which my grandma no longer lives in. My grandpa passed when I was 10. But this house has shown up in so many of my dreams. Because it was a place that I grew up. It's a place where I feel comfortable. And usually in a dream where you're feeling endangered, you tend to find yourself in a location where you feel safe, or you tend to perceive that safety place. Or that's at least how I've been told and what I've grown to believe. In the first episode of this podcast, I talked about the wolf dream I had, and I perceived myself being outside my grandparents' house. There's been so many other grandparents' house dreams, and that the architecture of that is so solidified. I've been in every room so many times, and I could draw that whole place up from memory. And so this is a very important place. That's why I believe I was there. But I was in my grandparents' house alone, and I perceived these jets, or at least one of them, landing nearby.
Oh, that's scary.
Yes. And the person getting out. Right. And this person is outside. I immediately go into I need to make sure they know that nobody is home. And the covering the curtains and finding a room where there's no windows.
Oh, that's so panicky. That's
right?
Yeah.
And it's that movie. Am I here? Yeah, I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
But it's that thing where you can see outside the window somebody walking by the window.
Those are so scary.
It's terrifying. And they don't look in at that point, but it's that dodging, like you see it and you quickly dodge out of sight.
Yeah, like a movie.
Yeah. And they're like circling the perimeter, and it's just one person, right? Some just figure of whatever, and there's this immense danger, just prevalent, like
looming. It's
yes,
over your shoulder. It's, yeah. Oh,
and
so scary.
Yeah. Have you ever had a dream like that?
Absolutely.
The people outside circling, and if I dive into this even further, so this is gonna sound. So when I lived with, I've lived with my grandma twice. When I was growing up until about the age of 5, and then after my mom had divorced my evil ex-stepdad, and we moved back in with my grandma. In about from 8th grade till the junior year of high school, I think, maybe senior year. And so I lived with her as a middle school student. In middle school, well, it was junior high. It was a junior high at that point. There was a time, she had 5 acres. There was a time where a helicopter had to emergency land on her property. Whoa. And because there was some flight problem, and they had to land on the property. And I'm pretty sure there were like people walking around with flashlights in the yard, but like I think they were checking to see if people were awake. Yeah. But like they weren't like looking in the windows. Yeah. But there was this very like, what's going on? Yeah. Like situation. And we were peeking out the windows, and we could like see the helicopter. And I don't know what I feel like it might have been like one of those like exhaust things, like an animal like was flying, or I don't know. There was an so it landed safely, and then the next day they were repairing it like all day, and so whatever happened with the helicopter, it's fine. Everybody's safe, but I think it was one of those like there was a car crash or something, maybe. And somebody had to be lifted, but like there was a failure with the it was this whole situation. But besides that point, that could potentially be a memory that just shows up in my dream.
Definitely,
so many years later. But that's how crazy the mind is like the dream could be a reflection of the current political climate and the fear of a foreign power taking advantage of their resources and coming against us. Yeah. Or it could be literally, I saw a helicopter in my yard once.
Yeah. I mean, maybe both.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I could be mixing things too. It could have been a dream that they were walking around, but I don't know.
Isn't that one of the wildest things is sometimes I can't tell the difference between what's a dream and what's a memory from my childhood.
Right.
Does that ever happen? And
yes.
You're like, what's real?
Absolutely.
What, like, how do I even know that I am here? Like, how do I even know that this happened?
But so isn't it weird that like almost basically the same day we had a dream about a TV foreign power attack, and then like coming under fire close to home.
I think one of the purposes of, I mean, nobody knows why we dream, right? But like, I feel like one of the purposes, or one of the things that it does a lot for me, is like it seeks resolution to a lot of the things that I suspect are going to happen or something like that.
Sure.
And so like, I suspect that there's going to be some foreign power doing stuff. And so of course in my dreams, then it's like, yep, this is what's happening. And then it like runs through it in my dreams. I don't necessarily suspect that people are going to start disappearing left and right, but I don't know why they were just disappearing. Like, but yeah, that's so scary to just have like the people wandering through. I've had dreams before where I'm in my car. That's my safe space. That's my like place of comfort. That is my place of zen.
Really?
And whenever there are people wandering around something that I'm in, it's always I'm in my car, and the car won't go. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This feeds in really well to what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you've had multiple car dreams.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's like the go-to destination.
That's my like. This is the place of safety and zen, and to violate that is a violation of my personal safety. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. And then, I mean, so for anybody that subscribes to the car is life metaphor, do you think that follows that you feel safe in your life just generally? Because then you get into those, that's where this breaks, right? That's where this is that rule breaks, because you might be in your car a lot in real life. And so therefore here it is in the dream. Right. And just like my grandparents' house from my childhood, that was a safe space. So that's why it shows up as a safe space in my dream.
I mean, like, it's subjective. It's the, personal interpretation of what safe is,
Yeah. Relativity.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like,
because like, okay, if you go back to a dream where someone, like, you're trying to get the car to go and it's not going, right? That's obviously, you feel unsafe, one, and two, you don't have control of getting out of there.
Yeah, that's my life. That's like, I feel like I feel like unsafe in my place of safety, and I can't do anything about it. Yeah, that's my.
It's basically that's just another Tuesday.
Yeah, really. Honestly, that was 2015 through 2019. Like, no, like 2010 probably, actually. Yeah.
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 Yuck.
But that's just like life, Yeah. So I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next time just lucid dream out of there.
I should. But like I kind of have this almost like, it's not voyeuristic, but it's almost this like pleasure of going through, like, because I'm able to realize, oh, this isn't real. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and everything will be fine.
Right.
And so it's almost this like, okay, yeah, let's just see where this goes.
Yeah.
Let's see how far this goes. And like, I live in this anguish of, I almost take pleasure in the anguish of like just experiencing it and being like, it's almost like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like, it's like simulating like danger and everything,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like a roller coaster, or like a scary movie where you're just like, you're not actually going to get chased by a ghost with a knife or anything like that, but it's just fun to like be like, oh, maybe.
But what if?
Yeah, like, yeah.
What if?
Yeah, and so that's what my dreams are for me, I guess, when I'm deciding not to lucid dream, because it's an active decision for me to be like, I don't want to do this right now, and then I turn it off.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely right. That is a superpower.
Dude, I escaped the Matrix. Yeah.
What is your secret?
I think honestly it's just writing the dreams down.
Take the right pill.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Nah, don't.
Don't take pills from strangers, more importantly.
Really? Honestly, what is he? He's just walking up to people. But yeah, I think it's because I have written down so many of my dreams that I have this awareness now of like, okay, this is just like a loose dream, like abstract narrative. So then I live in that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. The last thing I want to point out before we move on is that I looked up in one of my dream books war, because I was interested in this idea of war, because of this being both this political nature of the beginnings of these dreams and the attack, the disappearing or the circling someone's house. In one of my dream books, it says war it signifies unfortunate conditions in business or disorder and strife in domestic affairs.
Really?
Interesting.
Well, interestingly, though, in my dream, the newscasters were like, it's the Chinese government is doing this. It's obviously them taking action finally.
Yeah.
But we all knew that's not this.
You knew it wasn't them.
We knew that this was more than what any government could do. It was almost like rapturous.
Okay.
It was like divine in nature, and we were like, oh.
Yeah, I can understand why they would feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like only like disappearing is only you have powers, or there's some sort of divine intervention.
Something's happening. Yeah, something's going on.
Right. Or somebody has powers, maybe.
Yeah.
Have you seen any movies recently with disappearing?
Avengers.
Did you? Yeah, I was gonna say, did you just recently watch?
But it wasn't like the snap and like people turn to dust. It was more just you look away and you look back and they're gone, kind of thing.
Okay.
So
they were just all Batman now.
Yeah, I guess. I will bet that this was tangentially inspired by the Avengers. I will put money on it. But
honestly, did you recently watch anything Avengers like?
No.
Okay. Well,
Ron, really. I watched, there was a movie called You Are Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
And in the film, you're not sure if he has a superpower or not. Like, you're not sure if there's some weird, like, supernatural stuff because nobody can see him. That's his thing.
Oh.
Is, like, that one person sees him in the entire film, and then he, like, completely excommunicates that person from his life. But he just walks around the world like no one sees him, and he interacts with objects, and then the camera cuts back to a different perspective of the object, and he's not there. Like, yeah.
Huh. Well, we solved it. We answered
That's probably
dreams.
it. Yeah.
We figured it out.
That's probably it, honestly. Yeah.
Well, now that there's no more dreams to be had, we've solved the problem.
We did it.
I think that it's time to wake up. All awake. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's 12 o'clock.
Yes.
It could be evening or morning or afternoon or middle of the night, I suppose, is when 12 happens.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of clock you use. Hey, Alec, do you have any dreams for your life?
My real life, my waking life.
Yeah.
In the Matrix, I want to be a good dad.
Yeah.
I think that's like what I want to do with my life.
Same.
That's what I want to do. I also like on the side I want to do like writing and jujitsu. I started doing jujitsu and it's really fun. It's really fun.
How fun? Like how long have you been doing that?
About a month now.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's so exhausting and so fun. Yeah.
Great.
I love it. Yeah.
And then some writing.
I want to do more of it. Yeah.
Good. Well, keep writing. Do write as much as you want to write, and I'll write as much as I want to write, and maybe we'll share them again sometime.
Yes.
But in the meantime, I am now writing an outro for this episode. Thank you so much, Alec, for being on the podcast.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it was such a blast. We had a fun time. Thank you again to the sponsor that could have been the immune system. Could have been. And then remember, if you've got dreams, please submit them to podcast@midnightnotion.com or phone them in at 612-643-0944. This podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher, on YouTube. It's all over the place. And my waking dream is that you would like, share, and subscribe to this so we could share these dreams with the whole world. Woo! So until then, I'll see you next time. Sleep well, dream well, and be well.